all of a sudden things got really quiet here. Reminded me of this college class I took. It was stats. The professor wasn't just type A, he was type AAA. He would look up at the clock on the wall, and that's when silence would reign as he waited for the second hand to strike midnight. And he would start the class, the lecture, right on the very second at the top of the hour.
I don't have a problem with that, Paul.
So in this digital age, there's no such thing as a clock on the wall anymore, much less a second hand. And it doesn't really matter what time we start as long as we're here on Cardinals Underground, brought to you by Pacific Office Automation. Just the TRT, total runtime, is what ultimately matters.
Okay, but bigger picture, Paulie. You call a meeting. How do you feel about when that starts?
Oh, well, a meeting's different. I mean, record time, though, right?
No, record time.
I'm talking about a podcast.
I understand.
Yeah. I mean, meeting, light goes
or
on,
class,
you better be there.
Or class.
Sure.
Yeah, I get it.
But ever since the old, COVID and the Zoom and the whole thing, and I don't know. It's, attendance in a lot of ways in life these days. I don't want to pontificate here and get too philosophical, but I mean, it's more voluntary than ever, isn't it? Don't you sort of get that sense? Or is that changing?
What's more voluntary than ever?
Just attendance in general. If
it
you're
shouldn't
not there,
be, but it sure feels like it, yeah.
All right. By the way, I know you're supposed to take it 1 week at a time, Danny, but I'm already looking ahead to Cincinnati after they had a high of 9 and a wind chill of 6 below.
You're on to Cincinnati?
Mentally.
Okay.
Mentally, I am. A little
checking.
bit. A little bit. Good one, Darren. Darren's on his game. We're going to have to match Darren's energy here.
I barely had any coffee yet.
You sure? You have a performance enhancer that's off camera? Is that what you're saying, Darren? Okay.
Look, it's not ChatGPT, but I do the best I can.
That'll come a little bit later. That's calling a shot right there.
I'm just trying to keep up.
Yeah. I'm just so no jacket. No jacket till Cincinnati. That's how this is going to work.
Is that a concern for you guys?
Myself.
Is that a concern? There are certain people that are around this podcast right now, might be on the other side of the window, that tried to say a couple of weeks ago that Cincinnati that time of year is more like the 50s. Is there a concern that you guys
I'd love
would be
to see
frozen?
Cincinnati jump 40 degrees in 14 days.
First off, I'm not going to let Omo and Cody play mind games with yours truly, okay? Don't give them that credit. Where I got mentally sideways is I looked up at NFL Network and they were jumping around from game to game last Sunday, and then they had the little weather bug, the graphic in the bottom right, and it gave you the high temps, single
Never
digits,
cold enough.
wind chill below 0. So hopefully 2 weeks is enough for the weather, for the cold front to move out of town. But again, no sleep till Brooklyn, jacket till Cincinnati.
I do know that in certain corners of this organization, you may not know this, Paul, but you are known as the Miami Dolphins of sideline reporters.
Really? You know what? I want names on that one. I want to know who's saying that. That ends today.
Well, it's not going to be helped by all this talk about being cold.
What if in Cincinnati, all the old linemen came out without sleeves, and then yours truly came out, like John Lott back in the day used to come out? How beautiful would that be?
The New England game?
The New England game. And he came out, and he had everything except like a tank top on. Right? The old strength coach. And then at halftime, he got religion at halftime. And he came out in the second half, he had like 4 layers on. He looked like Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
It's only funny until you get frostbite.
That's right. All right. Where are we starting here? Danny, how are you doing? You good over there?
I'm just trying to put myself in these situations and these memories that I was not around for that you guys are bonding over. It's real fun for me over here.
I was going to say, it reminds me every time I go out with my childhood friend.
And so Darren keeps going.
Childhood friend, my wife gets mad. She's later like, I don't know anything you guys are talking about.
You let me know when you want to loop me in.
Well, that's what
Trey McBride. What?
That's what the phone is for anyway. I mean, people, you can be sitting there at a dinner table and everyone's on their phone. You don't need each other anymore, right? Yes, Trey McBride. Okay, no, this is an honest question. Speaking of phone, I looked down. I did not realize. Did he make angry runs again?
He didn't win. He was a finalist.
This week?
Correct.
Was it this week?
It went to Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I know that Kyle Brandt just also wanted to just talk about how awesome Trey is because he loves Trey McBride. Don't we all?
And I just went through Kyle Brandt's timeline there, and he retweeted the field-level video of the Caleb Williams rollout touchdown pass through traffic to DJ Moore, which is just a crazy angle to see that ball come through traffic, and then DJ Moore come across and snag that. And honestly, if you saw the low angle, I think it was from Channel 3, Channel 5, because they were in the end zone, of the Trey McBride second touchdown catch, where in traffic across the middle, hands out, snatches it, makes it look so easy. I mean, that is an absolute bullet, a laser from Jacoby Brissett, fitting it into a very tight window, snags it, braces for a hit from three guys, and gets into the end zone. So I don't know if that was the angry run, even though it was run after catch.
No. It was maybe on the first drive. Actually, it was when McBride shook a second defender, and it took three of them to bring him down and topple on top of him to get him to stop moving forward.
Gotcha.
At what point, and Paul, you and I were fortunate enough to be around for Fitz's career, and Danny, having your career, especially in Dallas, you saw some pretty high-profile players. At what point do you start talking about a guy and a career trajectory that could be, for lack of a better term, legendary? Like, are we seeing that with Trey McBride? Is it still too early? It was funny. I was looking at Travis Kelce's years because obviously Trey is broken a couple of Kelce's records, and looking at some of the thing. And it is, I mean, Travis Kelce had a streak of 7 straight 1,000-yard seasons, which is hard to do for a tight end. We'll see if Trey McBride can do something like that, but man, he is playing at a high level right now.
I don't like putting expectations on players like that. It feels unfair.
Yes.
It's very clear that he is on a tear right now, and not just this year, but the trajectory and the way he has ascended from his rookie year, where he was hardly playing, hardly saw the field. His second year, he was still playing behind Zach Ertz, so limited reps for a year and a half. And to put up the numbers he has with multiple different quarterbacks who were backups. Not to say they weren't good per se, but this isn't a situation where the team has had multiple quote-unquote franchise quarterbacks. He's had to carry the load quite a bit. I would need a few more years before I could fully commit and say this is absolutely legendary, because part of the reason we call them legends is consistency. And McBride has been consistent, yes, through this point in his career. He's earned every penny of that contract extension he got this offseason. You need to see it for a few more years, at least in my eyes, before we're talking about, if you're going to compare him to Larry Fitzgerald, then a Hall of Fame career.
And to be fair, I'm not trying to say he's going to have a Larry career. I was bringing that up is because that's a touch point. I mean, you actually have a better touch point in some ways because you were around Jason Witten, who's a tight end. Now, Jason Witten had some really good years. He was never as prolific receiving the ball as McBride is right now. But you and I have had the discussion of whether Jason Witten is he in the Hall of Fame conversation, and that's kind of where I am. Not necessarily Hall of Fame from Trey McBride. He's way too early for that. But again, in football, it's a little bit different than a baseball or basketball career where a guy needs to do it for like 12, 15 years. Like, you can have a great if you have a great 5 or 6 years, you can be a Hall of Famer.
If we see another 2 years of what we've seen from McBride this season, absolutely. I mean, I'm talking about consistency on a larger scale. Many years in the career, especially when you're talking about, Travis Kelce having 1,000 receiving yards in 7 seasons. We have seen consistency from McBride this year, though, and that's been a crucial reason as to why the Cardinals have stayed in as many games as they have this year, is because McBride has put the offense on his shoulders. He continues to set records, and some of the latest were after the game in Houston. He has the longest streak by any tight end in NFL history, with 5 or more catches in a game for now 16 straight games. So he broke Kelce's record of 15, and McBride is now the first tight end ever to have back-to-back seasons with 100 or more catches. And hearing Kelce hit 1,000 yards 7 times, he did that without even having 100 catches, which is impressive. But to have 100 catches in back-to-back years really tells you the role that McBride is playing on this offense.
Here's the one Fitz stat that he did post. In addition to 2 NFL records and a team record that he put up in Houston, he's the first Cardinals player with 10 receiving touchdowns since Larry in 2013. So to your point, Darren, I don't think it's too early I mean, he's most definitely on the radar at the very least. If you want to talk about legend, Ring of Honor, Hall of Fame. I mean, the way he's already tracking and what he's doing. I mean, Terrell Davis had, 4 really good seasons? You could pick out a whole bunch of Hall of Famers who, even Kurt Warner, the great Kurt Warner, didn't start till he was 28.
Yeah.
And, if you go and look at his year-by-year breakdown, right, 5 or 6 unbelievable years, but it wasn't like there was tons of longevity there.
But here's the Kurt Warner, and this is where Trey McBride, I don't want to say will have his issues, but it's going to be more than stats. And Kurt Warner only had 5 or 6 stupendous years, but he made it to 3 Super Bowls and won a couple of MVPs. And that is what changes some things. If Trey McBride has 6 fabulous years for the Cardinals and is the best tight end in the league for 6 years, but this team struggles in the win-loss column, that's going to be part of the equation. And again, here is our disclaimer. I'm doing this for myself, for Danny Sorek, for Paul Calvisi. We are not here sitting there saying Trey McBride belongs in Canton. We are not saying that. But we're having a discussion because it's fun.
And also not saying he's not on the trajectory to be legendary. I'm just saying if that's what we're going to start talking about, you need to see that for many more years to come. If he puts up numbers like this for another year or two, Ring of Honor, absolutely. That's a different story, though. We're talking about legends and how many people have played the game. That becomes a tougher discussion.
We're having this conversation because Darren has had too much caffeine. That's why we're having this conversation. But it's good. It's viable. It's valid. And then getting back full circle to the angry runs, how about the next-gen stat on Trey McBride? 97 of his 134 receiving yards after contact. So the whole tight end screen, which originally we said you should throw it to Tip Ryman and call it Who Wants Some? We're going to take that play moniker and we're going to put it over to number 85 right now until Tip Ryman gets back. That's what we're going with. Who wants some?
What I love about some of those tight end screens is the fact that McBride is in front of his blockers more times than not.
That is so true.
Is what we're calling them screens, but they're not really screens.
Right.
It's just kind of like the 3 ducklings, right? And McBride is leading the charge.
And blockers?
He's actually
stinking blockers.
He's got the ball and he's actually clearing the way for them.
Yes.
Okay, so here's the thing. If he needs some motivation, right? If all of a sudden things are a little too easy for Trey McBride and he's posting all these insane numbers, well, guess what? Look over the block wall onto the Falcons sideline because you have Kyle Pitts coming to town, who just did something a tight end has not done in nearly 30 years, back when Shannon Sharp had a 3-touchdown receiving game and over 150 receiving yards in the same game, and that's what Kyle Pitts just did on Thursday Night Football against Tampa. One of the big reasons why Todd Bowles was left with an expletive-laced post-game tirade.
I'm going to say this about Kyle Pitts. For as consistently great as Trey McBride has been, Kyle Pitts has been inconsistent.
Yes,
he is a fantastic player, but I also think that game might have been a confluence of events. He was having a great night. Drake London was still hurt. I think Drake London is trending towards returning against the Cardinals.
Correct.
So having the big receiver back is probably going to change some things for Pitts. I mean, I think you got to be worried, Danny, but it's not like the Falcons should be worried about Trey McBride.
Describing Pitts that way is a microcosm of describing the Falcons. You've seen good things, but it's not consistent at all. Doesn't mean, though, that you can walk in and mentally say, okay, we know we can handle them. We know it's going to be a cakewalk because they haven't done it on a consistent level. Not the case, because you have seen good things, especially as of late, coming off this game where the Falcons beat the Bucs. Kyle Pitts is a good tight end. Nowhere in near the discussion of what we were just talking about, the consistency and how powerful McBride has been, which is going to make this an interesting matchup for the Cardinals defense getting ready for Atlanta's offense.
One last quick thing about Trey when we talk about the season he's having and what it means. He is now, what has he got, 102 catches, 103, somewhere in there. It's DeAndre Hopkins owns the franchise record for most catches in a season with 115. Zach Ertz owns the NFL record for most catches in a season by a tight end, 116. So obviously, You would be shocked if he didn't break that sooner rather than
especially
later.
if Marvin Harrison Jr. is not able to return this week from his heel injury, and it remains McBride and Michael Wilson as your two top threats out wide.
I'm going to say this, even if Marvin Harrison returns, Paul and I were around for this. Unfortunately, David Johnson ended up getting hurt. But going into the last game of the 2016 season, David Johnson had already had 1,000 yards rushing, and he needed like 180 yards receiving to get to 1,000 receiving, which is a very, very rare thing. Roger Craig, Marshall Faulk, I think there was one other guy that did it. Bruce Arians went into that game absolutely. The game didn't mean anything, win or loss.
Games always mean something, Darren.
Also true. He went into that game in LA against the Rams absolutely planning on trying to get David Johnson 180 yards or 160 yards receiving. Now, unfortunately, David Johnson suffered a knee injury that knocked him out of the game and would have knocked him out multiple weeks had that been middle of the season. Thank God it wasn't. But you get to the end of the year, these records are in place. Somehow they get done.
I love that. I will say, though, and maybe it was partially due to the fact that the team had literally just lost and they were in the locker room in Houston. But when those records were brought up to McBride, he paused and then he said, for what? What is the point of me breaking these records if we're not going to win? It's not about me, it's about the team. So I'm not sure that if we get to a point where we're entering the final game of the season in LA and McBride is a few catches away, I'm not sure the goal is going to be, hey, get me the ball, I want it. You know what, like he doesn't strike me as that kind of player, although the trajectory he's on, he needs, let's say, 12, 13 catches, yeah. Maybe the first half against the Falcons.
Yeah.
So Saturday night in Houston, I get back to their own football on TV, and there's Dave Pasch and his TV partner, and there's the Gronk. Rob Gronkowski is right in between them, and they're interviewing him on camera during a college football bowl game. And then I realize after Gronk says bids adieu, and then they show a shot of the field, it's the bowl game logo in the middle, hosted by Gronk. It's right on the graphic. Like, Gronk is part of the marquee attraction. He's part of the branding, as if he's the ultimate party host, the ultimate party dude, Gronk, and all that whole brand and persona that he's created. I get it, and now he's cashing in, etc. But with all due respect to the Gronk, I mean, the tight end bowl is going to be here week 16. We're going to dub this Falcons Cardinals week 16 at State Farm Stadium. We'll just dub it the tight end bowl. Not hosted by stinking Gronk. It's hosted by Trey McBride and Kyle Pitts. How about that?
I'm okay. I'm looking for any good storylines at this time of year, Paul.
Here's my other thing, and then we'll move off Trey McBride. Michael Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride. When's the last time an offense had three big-time, legit receiving options? And more importantly, my bigger picture question is, what does that do for the identity of the Cardinals offense going forward? Right? Last couple of years, it's been run first. This year, because of injuries, they've had a hard time really defining an identity. But if you're going into this offseason and what Michael Wilson has shown you, and Trey McBride is now the best tight end in the game, and to your words, Danny, unstoppable, and then Marvin Harrison Jr., you like to think still has that potential to be a star, then all of a sudden, why do I get this feeling that whatever direction this offense goes in, it's going to look a lot different than it did in 2023 and 2024.
Well, first, if you're saying last time a team had two receivers and a tight end, I'm assuming you're talking Cardinals, because off the top of my head, I'm going to Cincinnati and Minnesota right off the bat.
Boom.
Not necessarily maybe to the level of Trey McBride, but if you're talking about three pass catchers, that's not unique by any means to me.
Refresh my memory on Cincy's tight end.
Isn't that Noah Fant?
I actually was thinking in today's iteration, today's current game, I was thinking more Dallas, to be honest with you. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, Jake Ferguson.
And that a lot can happen between now, obviously, and the start of the season when you're going to have to start finalizing what the identity is going to be. I don't think you're ever going to find a coach or an offensive coordinator that's going to get up there and say, our identity is the passing game. Everyone wants to establish the run. That is how you control the game. That's how you open up the playbook. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the strength, But I think you're going to be hard-pressed to find someone get up there and say, yeah, our identity is going to be the passing game. Because then you're automatically making yourself one-dimensional, and teams don't like to do that. That is the strength, though. Like, I don't think the Cardinals need to shy away from that, and they haven't. But to your point, the run game isn't necessarily because of injuries. I mean, like, absolutely. That running backs room has been destroyed. The offensive line, center Yelda Froholt, is the last man standing. When this team was healthy through 4 weeks, the run game was not the bright spot of the offense. So with that carryover from last year, that's what we expected because they were so good last year. So yes, injuries as of late, of course, have made an impact on that. But even when everyone was healthy, the run game was not where it was last year.
By the way, quick side note, offensive line play. I know I'm out of my element right here, so I'm going to defer to Rob Fredrickson, who watched the film, and just out of nowhere, threw out there, John Gaines had a really good game. He was the Cardinals' best offensive lineman after watching the film, according to Rob Fredrickson, and that was corroborated by A.Q. Shipley, that John Gaines had his best game of the year and really did look legit against Houston's front.
I will say that you couldn't have gotten a better test for these inexperienced linemen, offensive linemen, than that Houston defense, and the game did not go the way the Cardinals wanted. But offensively, they weren't bad. I mean, defensively, you needed to keep the game closer. But offensively, yeah, you want to get more points. I get all that. Can't have an interception in the end zone, but they did some things offensively, both running the ball a little bit and passing.
Houston's got the #1 defense in the league. Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. Not a lot of teams have a dynamic duo of coming off the edge like those two, and the Cardinals allowed just 2 sacks, only one between those two players, and not a lot of pressure generated by Houston's front. So that was a nice outing by a pretty banged-up offensive line. That was also using rotation on the left side.
Yeah, and Michael Carter told us after the game, there's no doubt that the game plan was to run straight up the gut, was to target the interior defensive line for Houston, considering the premier edge guys they have. You know what's not good also is when I had to fact-check Craig Grialou during his own show, Red Sea Report, when he said the Atlanta Falcons are number 2 in sacks as a team. And I didn't buy it because 3 of the last 4 years they've been bottom 2 in sacks. And then I looked it up only to realize that Grialou was correct. And they are second to the Denver Broncos in sacks. So in terms of offensive line play,
you're saying there's another test? Is that what you're trying to say?
What I'm saying is, he did pass. Every once in a while we got to fact check Gree just to be sure, because that seemed a little, unrealistic. But man, if they turned around in 1 year, and they did invest that first-round pick to the Rams, who might end up with a top 10 pick because they traded with the Atlanta Falcons. But James Pierce Jr., the kid they took out of Tennessee, leads all rookies in sacks, and he's the first rookie to have a sack in 6 straight games since Micah Parsons.
Look, you can rip Robert as much as you want, but he knows his facts. Gree knows his facts.
Robert?
Yeah.
Is that an inside joke there?
You should ask him sometime.
I hesitate. Would this be, speaking of asking and questions?
No, he'll be mad at me, not you.
I see. Okay. Danny, should we ask you for an addition to Getting Cultured? What about that?
Let's do it.
Okay. Danny, we'll segue to you.
Getting Cultured with Danny. It is not just directed at Paul.
Am I the default uncultured Philistine around here?
Yes.
You got me very excited now.
I am on social media and consume more pop culture than both of you combined.
I think I'm being unfairly profiled, but go ahead.
Let's go. You know who's being profiled? Gen Z by In-N-Out. In-N-Out has officially banned 67 from their ordering system, aka 6-7, after the viral video of everyone in the video erupting when that order was announced.
I mean, that was like 2 months ago, though, wasn't it? I mean, that's still going on. Are kids still gathering?
There's a lot of red tape.
A lot of legal issues you got to work through for a company.
If you're just talking about 6-7, it hasn't died yet. Hey,
Don't worry, Paul.
We got winning behavior later.
Okay.
History has been made, though. A world record for most golden retrievers assembled in one place has been broken.
Don't tell my wife.
A park in Argentina had 2,397 Goldens all hanging out together.
Quick question. My wife and I are talking about taking a vacation this summer and driving around the Northeast, like the Maine and New Hampshire, that whole thing. One of the things she wants to do is go to this golden retrievers farm. And you spend an hour just hanging out with all these dogs. The problem I have is it's like $50 a person.
They're charging you to hang and pet the dog.
For an hour.
I see. And people will pay it because
They do, apparently.
that's America.
Why don't you just get a golden retriever?
That's a hard no, Danny.
They're the best dogs. That's
I'm
what I
sure
have
they
growing
are,
up.
but that's
All
a
right.
hard no on any dog right now.
All
No
right.
pets.
So 2 days ago, actually, what it was the weekend, and my daughter said something about going somewhere to take a picture with Santa. I said, "What are you talking about?" I said,
Oh, no.
I have 2 teenagers.
Not Cheeto.
My wife was taking Cheeto to go get a picture with Santa,
Oh, I love it.
thereby proving yet again that anything you offer to humans, you can offer to pet owners, and they'll treat
Get to
their
work,
dog
Paul.
like their kid. And where is my $1 billion idea?
I was going to say, when Paul started saying, proving once again that Paul has lost control of his household.
Facts.
One and the same. Some news for the WAGs, wives and girlfriends around the NFL. Haley Steinfeld and Josh Allen with the Buffalo Bills are expecting their first child. And Taylor Swift, future Mrs. Travis Kelce, put out a docuseries of behind-the-scenes footage of her Eras tour. And supposedly, I say supposedly because from the clips I saw online, this part was bleeped out of the docuseries. But she gives handwritten notes to the dancers, the crew, the truck drivers around the holidays, and to wrap up the European leg tour. She gives them a bonus in addition to their salary. And it's bleeped out when someone reads the card of how much she's giving each individual, and reportedly $750,000 to a person, which
they were saying, I don't think it was
she takes
everybody.
a lot of heat online
Yeah.
from being shown at her fiance's football games, but you got to give props to giving life-changing money to every person involved in your tour.
I did read. I think it was like I think her the backup dancers got like $750. Like some of the truck drivers got like $150,000. Like
it was in total like almost
different.
$200 million
It was a
in
ridiculous
bonus
amount.
in
But-
addition to the salary.
But she made what, $2.5 billion from that tour?
Something crazy.
Is she hiring? Is Taylor Swift Incorporated hiring? As someone who's never listened to an entire Taylor Swift song from start to finish,
Not even a song?
can I apply to be a roadie? Anything?
Caitlin, do not listen.
Can I anything?
And
Please.
this last note was written by hand after I printed this because I saw it online and needed to give a little love to Craig Grelu and Zach Gershman. Apparently, John Cena retired from
Oh
the
my
WWE,
God.
and I don't really know what else to say about that. I don't watch, but I know it means something to the two of them,
Well,
so it
you
means
can't see
something
him,
to
so
us
it doesn't
here.
matter.
Exactly. You both have been cultured. You're welcome.
Okay, so wait, I'm sorry. That was that last one was for Craig, Zach, or Robert. Which one was that intended
All the
for?
above.
All the above. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's talk about what positions you are watching most closely the last 3 games. I'll start Walter Nolan.
That's
Walter
not a
Nolan.
position, that's a player.
That's okay. He's allowed.
You broke the rules.
He's so big. He's his own zip code. He's his own position group. I'm just going to go Walter Nolan, and I'm going to name him.
Is that just because you want to see him progress, or you're just entertained?
Oh, you know what? You're right. Are you not entertained? I am entertained watching 97. There needs to be the old school picture-in-picture. When the Cardinals are on offense, just give me a picture-in-picture subset screen of 85 of Trey McBride. And then on defense, I want a picture-in-picture bottom right of Walter Nolan, number 97. It is entertaining to watch. He's walking chaos. He just creates havoc. And the reason I cite him, in addition to just the entertainment factor, he's only played 5 games.
4.5.
And so he's at an instant impact, right? We're not even sure if he knows what he's doing at the NFL level. We don't even know that. It doesn't matter. He's just wreaking havoc. And so if he can use these last 3 games to get a little more seasoned, get a little more, some of those reps, and, like Calais Campbell at age 39, I asked him, I said, how much are you winning with your mind versus your athleticism compared to 18 years ago when you're winning with athleticism, but maybe your football IQ was really low. So, I'd love to know, Walter Nolan, to what degree is he just winning with insane athleticism right now?
It's a blessing and a curse that Nolan is one of the most disruptive on this defensive line. A blessing because he's your first-round pick. That's what you want. You want that disruption. I say a curse which sounds intense, and maybe I don't mean it that intense, but he's only played 4.5 games, and to already be one of the most disruptive tells me you need more from the supporting cast, from everyone around him.
I mean, no training camp, no preseason. I mean, he just stepped in, October? He stepped into the NFL, right?
Yeah, sounds about right. Yep.
I mean, he went almost a year without playing a real football game.
I would say for me, the area that I'm watching is probably going to be the cornerback room. There's lots of injuries. Max Melton has some things to say on social media. Although he's not playing a lot of defense right now, I think Will Johnson has had some rookie ups and downs. You don't know how much more Jalen Thompson is going to get back in there. So how much, is Rabbit going to be coming back anytime soon? But especially the corners, that's a position that you've put a lot of draft capital towards, and you want to see it paying off. And I think these last 3 games are something to, you're going to be going. I can't. I mean, obviously the Falcons have Kirk Cousins and they have some receivers, but I think Bijan Robinson is their guy on offense. But the last 2 games, Joe Burrow and Matthew Stafford. Let's see what you got.
In his last 2 games, going against Nico Collins and Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, I mean, he's learning that life in the NFL can really test you. Will Johnson, for a guy who had a really auspicious start to his NFL career, including game number 1, where he had the huge hit. He had an interception that was negated, but was an unbelievable play, step for step, with speedster Rashid Shaheed, right, who, by the way, had a 100-yard return against these Atlanta Falcons 2 games ago for Seattle. So Will Johnson, yeah, I would agree. He could use a strong finish to his rookie season akin to how he started this year.
That cornerbacks room, what do you have? What do you have in the secondary when that group in particular, cornerbacks and safeties, you have a combination of players who their contracts are going to be up, or they're going to be going into years where they don't have guaranteed money. And also remember, they've been without 2 of their starting cornerbacks in Sean Murphy-Bunting and Starling Thomas all year because of off-season injuries. So what do you have right now? And that's going to require a lot of assessment in that area. My top 3 positions that came to mind when thinking about this: defensive line, which Paul touched on; secondary, which Darren touched on, which pretty much leaves the offensive line. What do you have? Right now, center Yelder Froholt is your last man standing. And so what do you have in the youth and the depth of everybody who's getting reps? John Gaines had a really nice game at left guard. What do you have from Isaiah Adams at right guard, who started, was benched when Will Hernandez came back, and then starting again when Hernandez got hurt? Who are the players you're going to be able to have some sort of foundation for years to come? And what are you learning about, okay, this might be a position we're really going to have to evaluate in the offseason? And again, there's a lot of injuries, a lot of factors coming into play, but I think that's a position room as a whole where you can get some answers these last few games as players get reps.
The other thing I'll throw in there is inside linebacker, just minus Mac Wilson Sr. I know ad nauseum I've talked about how I think that's been a real hurdle for the Cardinals defense. It's impacted them, I think, a lot more than most people realize. Cody Simon getting 3 more games under his belt as a green dot middle linebacker would be key. Now, where is he? With a knee/ankle injury? Don't know. He got banged up early. Bam Knight got banged up really early, had to be carted off. And what was unfortunate about that was Cody Simon had gone against C.J. Stroud so many reps, so many days in practice at Ohio State. He had a real level of familiarity against C.J. Stroud. Now, would that have made a difference? We have no idea. But Cody Simon is still making the transition to the NFL level, being able to read and react and be that seek and destroy linebacker. And so more reps would benefit him greatly.
You mentioned Bam Knight real quickly. This just came out as he hurt his ankle on the first drive for the Cardinals offense in Houston. He went in the blue medical tent, came out limping, had to be carted off, did not return. Cardinals just placed him on IR, so he will not return this year.
I'm not shocked. He could barely put any weight on that thing. That's too bad. So the running back room right now,
decimated.
because Amari DiMercato did not get very many snaps.
Correct.
So that's still a work.
7.
Yeah, work in
That was
progress.
his first game back from an ankle injury.
So Michael Carter, someone named Corey Kiner, and then and I kept calling him, and Omo knows this, kept calling him Ralph Kiner, the former, the one-time Pittsburgh Pirate Hall of Famer, right? So I kept calling him Ralph Kiner. I don't know why.
That's a good one. I like that.
So anyway,
I understand the reference.
That's where you're at this
I know
point.
history.
That's where you're at. When you're on the sideline and there are guys in uniform, you're like, wait a minute, who's this guy again? And you're looking up numbers. That's that. And you know what? There was a whole series of questions about that from the media this week to both the head coach and the coordinators. How tough does it make to evaluate in the face of injuries, right? And it is difficult. I mean, like, I was having this debate with an Arizona native and longtime Cardinals fan. His father has had season tickets ever since '88. And I said, all right, you're trying to get an evaluation, an assessment of where you stand against the division opponents. Most in particular, the Niners and Seahawks, because you played them in the first month. Well, guess what? You led both teams late. You lost both games on walk-off field goals, triple zeros on the clock. So is that more representative of where you might be in terms of competing against the Seahawks and Niners versus the rematch? Now, I know Niner fans are screaming, are you kidding me? No one's been more banged up than our team. I get it. I do get it. And that's where depth becomes such an asset for any team. And there's no doubt the Seahawks have rebuilt, and they have incredible depth right now. The Rams goes unsaid. 49ers have better depth than I think a lot of people realize. After you lose Fred Warner and Nick Bosa, and even though the defense is struggling and they can't get to the quarterback, they're still winning games because of everything they do on offense.
You're going to have to evaluate the season almost in waves. That's a good point. The offense was a lot healthier at the start of the year. You had Kyler Murray playing at the start of the year, and how does that play into things? Now, at the same time, again, the run game was not where it needed to be, right? So you're going to have to look and find where you can improve in that aspect. When you're looking at the defense was more banged up in the first half of the season, and now they've been relatively healthy, with the exception of Mack Wilson Sr. really as of late. So I think you're going to look at the back half of the season when you're evaluating the defense, and there's going to be a lot of questions that are going to have to be answered, some tougher than most. That running backs room is a great example. What do you have left in James Conner coming off a pretty gnarly foot injury? What do you have in Trey Benson, who's going to be going into year 3 with very minimum reps, but from his first 2 years because of injury and playing behind Conner, right? Those are questions that are going to have to be answered in the offseason that will be tough based on injuries this year.
Well, maybe the Cardinals can feed off Darren Urban's will to rebound after wait a minute now. After suffering a defeat last week in Wise Guy.
A bad defeat.
But we might drug test after this. Darren's pretty hopped up, has a lot of energy right now, and I'm not sure exactly what's in that cup of coffee. My grandfather used to call it coffee royal when he would pour his own wine into his coffee cup.
Wine?
Wine, because
I get like some hard liquor, but wine?
It was from his father's, my great-grandfather's wine barrels, and it was basically
white or red.
It was red, and you did not want to drink it unless it was in a cup of coffee. Put it that way.
Oh, okay.
Let's go, Wise Guy.
It's time for The Wise Guy, the world's fastest-growing Cardinals quiz show. The stakes are low, the winner gets absolutely nothing. Here's your hostess with the mostest, Denny Sarat.
Well, this is new, ladies and gentlemen. Paul, as our reigning champ, gets first pick of the questions, which means he cannot complain if he gets them wrong.
Ooh, that is true.
Gets them wrong.
True. That's true.
Can't blame me.
I like the use of the word if instead of when. He gets them wrong. All right, let's go number 2.
I don't know a lot of names in these questions. I'm going to be honest. Chili, T-Boz, and Left Eye formed this Atlanta-based R&B. Can we take I saw Paul's face right there, his reaction. Formed this Atlanta-based R&B and hip-hop group in 1990. They famously told the world they didn't, quote, want no scrubs, and advised against chasing waterfalls, encouraging everyone to stick to the rivers and lakes we're used to.
All right, so it was, what was it? It was T-bone and ribeye? What was the what was it again?
Chili, T-Boz, and Left Eye. So pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah, as you can tell, I have a real fighting chance at answering this question correctly. And it's the name of this group?
Yes.
That's what we're asking
Which
for.
I actually,
Okay.
I wouldn't know this because I know this,
Okay.
the song that's being referenced.
All right. So here we go. Backstreet Boys.
Oh,
You know what's
disappointment.
horrible is I can't think of the name of the group, and now I'm so upset
Ooh.
because I know I should know it, and I know I'm going to get mad as soon as you say it. But
Any
I'm
guess?
drawing a blank.
TLC.
TLC.
Which now I'm realizing is just the first letter of all their names.
Which is really stupid of me.
Apparently,
That's
Left
2
Eye
weeks in
was
a row
also
that I've been
known
bad.
for accidentally burning down the home of former Falcons wide receiver Andre Rison.
Rising.
She
Now
was-
that
she was-
I
Following
remember.
an argument.
She also died in a car accident after that happened.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah, I should
Anyway.
have known that, and I'm not happy at all. And after the Matt Leinart thing, I'm
Yeah.
maybe getting
Okay.
close to retirement.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with number 1, please.
Okay, I believe in you here, Darren. This former center was part of the Cardinals' pivotal 2004 draft class, which also included Larry Fitzgerald, Carlos Dansby, and Darnell Dockett. He spent 3 seasons in Arizona before finishing his career with the Falcons in 2008. Who is he?
Alex Stepanovich.
Correct. Darren's in the lead.
All right. Let's
Did
go.
you, did you know that one?
No, not
Okay,
until you
just-
said
just
it.
checking.
I mean, I certainly remember Alex Stepanovich. I think I even remember where his locker is. I
Yeah.
just didn't remember him.
Yeah.
All right, let's go here.
It's okay, he doesn't listen, I bet.
Yeah. All right. We'll go number 1. We'll go number 1. Here
You
we
think
are.
he doesn't
Did-
listen?
Here
You
we
think
go.
Alex Stepanovich
Well,
doesn't
I know
listen?
Paul doesn't listen because you just chose question number 1, so that's not available, Paul. You have 3
it.
or 4.
Dang it. All right. I stay away from 3. I'm going 4. I learned the hard way 3 weeks in a row not to go with number 3.
By the way, the Houston PA press box announcer called him for half the game Butta. Butta Baker.
That's good. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Here we go. Along with players Deion Sanders and Andre Rison, this former Falcons head coach made a guest appearance in MC Hammer's iconic Too Legit to Quit music video.
It can only be Jerry Glanville.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's
Correct.
a good one.
We're tied.
Good. Big personality.
Yeah.
Darren, if you
it
get
could be
this
that
right,
one.
you win.
Yay me.
After stints with the Jets and Falcons, this former pass rusher recorded 11 and a half sacks in 17 games with the Cardinals and earned a Pro Bowl selection in 2013 for his performance.
Come on.
John Abraham.
Come on.
Darren is back in the win column.
I should have gone number 3. Dang it. Okay. John Abraham. All righty. By the way,
Can't believe I didn't know TLC.
pass rush. Let's talk pass rush in honor of John Abraham and coming off the edge. Mr. Josh Sweat. What was his quote to you a couple weeks ago?
Chipped into oblivion.
There you go. So
It was the way Danny just delivered that, which would made it. No,
So
sorry.
these last 3 games, we just cited all these other, I mean, we're making our list, checking it twice. 'Tis the season, right? What you want for the holidays. What about someone not named Josh Sweat getting home against the quarterback? And I'm talking about off the edge. I'm talking about Baron Browning, Jordan Birch, Zaven Collins, B.J. Ojolari. Your takeaways from Sideline Exchange last week with B.J. Ojolari, by the way. Anything, if I ask you, okay, what stood out the most? What would you say?
The fact that he is still working back to himself. He had a gnarly knee injury. He missed the entire season last year, missed majority of the season this year. He didn't play football for 400 some days. So he practiced and he played that first game and he's kind of getting his wind back underneath him and getting comfortable again. And he's understanding it's going to take some time. But there are some things he feels like he's put out on tape, but he knows it's going to take time and knows he needs to perform these last few weeks.
If you go to the 50-yard run by the Hamilton running back, whose name escapes me because he was on the practice squad until this last week.
Johar Jordan.
So he gets loose for the 50-yarder. If you
Hang
want
on, sorry. Houston.
Houston's.
You just said Hamilton, and I'm thinking.
Well, no, because he went to
Oh,
Hamilton.
He went to Hamilton. Sorry,
Okay, I
Chandler.
follow.
So-
I didn't know that.
And now he's
Okay.
on Houston on the practice squad, and he had 101 yards against
He actually
I
was
see.
he was in the Broadway play, Hamilton. And so on the
Now we're
50-yard
talking flag football or something.
50-yard run, there's B.J. Ojolari giving chase, and you can tell he's still coming back from the injury. So, I give him props for As he explained to the media, it wasn't one, wasn't two, 3 different ligaments had to be repaired. And so I'm guessing that he's going to be the classic case where he'll be a different player in year 2 after the knee injury, hopefully.
Which is what this defense will need, because next year will be year 4 for Ojulari.
Yeah.
And that's a position room we didn't talk about when what are you keeping your eye on? That's a great position room, is what do you have? You know what you have in Josh Sweat. I mean, you've gotten every penny of that splash signing this offseason. That was fantastic. You need more from players around him. You need more players taking advantage of Sweat winning. That way, when an offense gives him attention, you're winning off the back end.
And it's I don't want to deviate off of what we're talking about here, but it's funny that you talk about Ojulari needing that next season, because over the weekend there were 2 gigantic ACL injuries that rocked the NFL world with Micah Parsons and Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
And my first thought wasn't, will they be back next year? My first thought was they won't be back to where they really want to be until 2027.
I thought your first thought was that you don't know a lot of athletes who get ACL surgery the day after hurting it, like Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I don't know if
That's what I saw online.
Darren, what did you step into? What happened?
On the Chiefs tweet that Patrick Mahomes had surgery yesterday, Monday, I just I quote tweeted it, and I said, I don't think I've ever heard of a player getting ACL surgery the day after he gets hurt.
It is uncommon.
For my long career, most of the time there is a gap after the injury because of swelling or whatever, and they certainly don't go in the next day, and it's usually a week or 2 at the earliest that they have this surgery. I was just making a comment about myself, and holy hell, did that unleash all kinds of crap.
How dare you use your own Twitter account to speak your mind?
The number of people that I angered by saying that, which I don't think is that crazy, but I've gotten more engagement. There's 15,000 likes on this. There's 550 bookmarks. Why you would want to bookmark that and go back to it later, I have no idea. The number of people that think I'm stupid, or that wanted to say, oh, well, then next time he'll just ask you when he has to have his surgery. I was just saying.
That one's Paul's burner.
That's good.
I'm
good.
I just... And look, I reached out to.
I have an assistant. I have people who do that for me.
I have a couple of close friends that have been in this business for a long time, Paul Coro and Ken Summers, and I let them know about this, and they were both like, "Yeah, that is kind of that." I've never heard of somebody going under the knife for an ACL the very next day either. So I'm not crazy. But I just don't know why. I don't know why it got so much traction, but whatever.
Well, okay, so 2 thoughts. One, I think you just found out what the NFL knows, the popularity of Patrick Mahomes.
This is true.
Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, the whole Chiefs factor, right? Didn't they have the most watched regular season game ever on Thanksgiving Day, right?
Probably, yep.
So it was Chiefs and Cowboys. So you in 345 Park Avenue, you can bet that they shed a tear when the Chiefs were officially eliminated from the postseason, and all the TV networks, they're up in arms over that. And Darren just found out why.
I saw a tweet poking fun almost at okay, the league wanted to try and take over Christmas from the NBA. Well, the teams that are now playing on Christmas, a Patrick Mahomes-less Chiefs team that's already been eliminated from the playoffs, a not very good Vikings team, and the third team, which is escaping me. But the point is
Are the Cowboys playing on Christmas?
Are you being serious? You're supposed to take a knock at me.
No.
They probably are.
I'm trying to guess, eliminated teams.
It is the Cowboys and the Commanders.
Okay.
So it was just kind of poking fun
all
that
these teams
the
that
NFL was trying to take over Christmas from the NBA, and all the teams they scheduled, not great games.
Yep.
As a capper on this whole tweet thing, it's one thing if they're all mad at me and whatever. The number of people, and it's more than one, suggesting that Patrick Mahomes didn't really tear his ACL and he's getting it repaired the next day because he didn't really get hurt. And this is, they didn't quite say it, but the implication was kind of like a Michael Jordan-esque thing where it's they just want to get, he's not making the playoffs, so we're going to move him out of the way for the rest.
Goodness. Wow. Well,
these are the people out there that are voting people.
Well, Darren, that's what you get when you stay at whatever hotel it is that you wake up the next day as a doctor. You know what I mean?
Holiday Inn Express?
Yeah, there you go. So just got to stay in your lane, dear.
I've been tweeting for all this time. Somebody did say that. Somebody actually said,
no medical advice
maybe,
from a Cardinals media guy.
Maybe you shouldn't be putting your opinion out there. And I'm like, again, like it was a thought. It wasn't even a.
What else are you supposed to use Twitter for?
Goodness gracious.
Okay. All right, so which brings us to the following. Jonathan Gannon telling the media to start the week that, yes, he worries about that week's opponent almost entirely, but he does take notes as to what he will address in the offseason. And, because if something isn't working and you keep doing the same thing, I'm paraphrasing now loosely from JG, then it wouldn't be very wise to not change it up. So, okay. And then the follow-up question was, well, is there anything off the top of your head that you would want to change going forward, or at least you're going to have to look at addressing in the offseason? And he cited two things. One, player health, and then player development. Okay, so whether it's all these young guys, 28 draft picks in 3 years, a bunch of other undrafted rookies who have made the final 53 or have seen playing time. So whether it's bringing those players along and getting them, improving them, getting them to the next level in terms of their skill set and their production, or something that, to me, in a lot of ways, seems out of the realm of the head coach, which is player health, but maybe in terms of how you're practicing or what you're doing or the preparation, either in camp or what have you, to get ready for the rigors of a 17-game regular season, soon to be an 18-game regular season, then maybe there is something you can do as a head coach.
I think it's fair for Gannon to say that when you're looking at the rash of injuries. Not necessarily to point fingers. Is there a pattern? What can we learn from? What is preventable, right? What can we work on to try and eliminate? So your injuries are always going to happen, right? But what can you do? What can you control to try and limit some of these or prevent some of these? That's what I take when I hear the health is kind of how can you learn from these injuries and try and prevent some of them moving forward.
Now, this is just my own observation. I'm gonna pull a Darren. All right, I'm gonna get out of my lane.
Tweet this.
You're gonna win wise guy
as a sideline reporter. It's not bad. I'll give you the light on that one. It's not bad.
He won last week.
Here's the theory.
That's true.
I think the number is 14. There are 14 teams in the NFL with natural grass fields. If I'm a free agent and I have two offers in the same neighborhood in terms of money, right, compensation, and one of them has a natural grass field, I would think that would be really attractive, as opposed to playing at certain fields that have certain reputations for not having great turf. But when the Cardinals go up to Seattle and they're playing on that turf, and it's sort of a singular turf in a lot of ways, in that guys tend to slide on that turf, and then their foot grabs at the last second. You get traction. And you play up there once a year. And a lot of guys are playing up there for the very first time when you have a young team. Are they unaccustomed to the playing surface and hence more vulnerable or apt to incur an injury? When you go to Houston and there's a rash injuries right off the bat, how much of that has to do with all of a sudden now you're on an artificial surface versus you're accustomed to practicing and playing on natural grass fields? That's just me thinking out loud, thought bubble. It might be a lot of blowback from people on Twitter, whether it's legit or worthwhile or not. I don't know, but I will say I've had that thought more than once.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I know that I'm not. The Cardinals go to MetLife next year to play the Giants.
Uh-oh.
They do.
Ruh-roh.
That's what I think of.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Paul,
Ask George Kittle for his opinion on the MetLife surface.
Are you working for the NFLPA now? Just wondering.
Well, they are. The new agreement, the new
Yes.
CBA that's coming around, they're going to mandate certain standards for the artificial turf fields, and you're only going to be able to select from like a handful of different
surprised
surfaces.
It's taken that long.
Yeah, I absolutely.
It's a fantastic question.
Considering how much owners have invested into players and player payrolls, why would you skimp on the playing surface or take any chances with the playing surface? Like MetLife.
It's fair, but at the same time, like Patrick Mahomes just tore his ACL and he was on grass.
Sure.
I mean,
I
those things are going to happen.
Yeah. So
Did he tear his ACL, Darren?
Oh God, don't. I mean,
That's
with
good.
respect.
that's good.
Fair question.
Please
Yeah.
tell me you're going to drop that.
Spoken like Danny's burner account. All right. So, based on all that, what do we have left here?
Winning behavior.
Oh, winning behavior. Here we go.
Can you display winning behavior? You have to consistently display winning behavior.
That's winning behavior.
You got to define what winning behavior is and hold people to that standard.
Yes.
You can set the second hand of your watch to be consistently missing the cue for winning behavior. Every week, I forget about it.
You were pretty close there. If I hadn't said anything, you would have rescued yourself. I have to bring this up because our old friend Tony Jefferson got ejected the other day, and it wasn't for this. I just thought this was funny. The winning behavior in this case is coming from my wife, Chris, who I got home from the road trip in Houston, and we got home early enough that she was still up. It was 8 o'clock, 7:30, whatever it was, and she's like, "Did you hear that Tony Jefferson got ejected today?" And I said, "Oh yes, the boys, my sons, made sure in real time that I understood what happened." And she's like, "What exactly happened?" I said, "Well, he hit a guy, and then I think he got ejected for an obscene gesture." And my wife, without missing a beat, she said, "Did he do the 6-7 thing?"
Oh, come on.
I thought that was very funny. That is winning behavior for my wife to go right in. I don't know exactly what gesture Tony did, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't for the 6-7 thing. And I'll be honest, like in the moment when I saw the replay, I understand why people had issues with the hit. I was kind of on the fence on whether it was something that should have been ejectable. I'm not sure what he exactly got ejected for, but that got ugly quickly.
The NFL might follow suit from In-N-Out and
yes,
ban 6-7.
All right, Old Man Rivers. Guess what? The NFL might have struck out with their Christmas Day matchups now with injuries, but they just hit a home run with putting Old Man Rivers on Monday Night Football this week. That's going to be...
I was crushed. We're trying to. I'm trying to follow on the plane. The internet is spotty in terms of getting streaming. You saw on there that the Colts somehow hit the 60-yard field goal to take the lead with less than a minute left. I'm like, oh my God. Now, I am going to apologize publicly because on our pregame radio show, Danny remembers this, I basically said there was only two ways the Colts game was going to go for Phillip Rivers, which was either bad or all-time ugly, and they almost won that game. So props to the Colts and Phillip Rivers, and of course, the Seahawks ruined everything.
Darren, you've had a lot of apologies this week. I mean, really, that's a lot of mea culpas. I mean,
I don't think he just said, I'm sorry. I think he was just reminding everyone what he said.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
I think this last one, though, is Danny's special.
Yeah, this one.
I mean, it's not Houston, but...
Yeah, so I saw this. So the World Cup is playing in Arlington, and the World Cup does not allow sponsor names on any of their stadiums. So AT&T Stadium in Arlington, where the Dallas Cowboys play, will be known for the World Cup as the Dallas Stadium, but it's not in Dallas, and it's not super close to Dallas, which is just ironic on all sorts of levels for the Dallas Cowboys playing Arlington, and now on the world stage it will be the Dallas Stadium, even though it's the Arlington taxpayers who paid for that stadium.
So if it'd be like if World Cup was being played at State Farm Stadium and they decided to call it the Tucson Stadium?
Or the Phoenix Stadium.
Yeah.
I noticed, so there's disdain between Houston and Dallas. Let's get back to that. Okay. So at what level?
What do you want to know?
At what level? I'm trying to think like...
Bring it on, Paul.
You know, like Tucson versus Phoenix. Like, for example, Bijan Robinson is from Tucson.
Correct.
So is he coming to town looking to take it out?
Probably.
On the erstwhile Phoenix Cardinals? Is that what's going on here? We'll see. Okay.
I would like to know, as somebody who actually is from Dallas, like, are you born? Is it nature or nurture in terms of hatred of Houston?
I think it's nurture. I think you just go to Houston and you don't really have great experiences a lot of time. I mean, it was the middle of December. Why was it as humid as it was? The traffic is otherworldly. It's horrible. It's not great. It's not great in a lot of facilities. Their baseball team cheats. I don't know what you want me to say.
Right. Wow. Should have started with this. Okay. All right.
I think it's a good mic drop.
Okay. Not bad. I can't really add to that, and I don't want to do anything to trigger Bijan Robinson. There's nothing I want to say bad about Tucson. Like the official city tree is a telephone pole. I don't want to say anything like that about Tucson.
I do want to make note, while I'm not great at the picks this year, shocker, I did make the playoffs in both of my fantasy football leagues, and I won both of those games.
Wow.
So that's what really matters.
Well, as long as you bring it up, the picks, that is, Danny. Paul is closing quickly on me.
Paul can't win. He's a cheater. He's like the Astros.
Speaking of cheating, wasn't I 2 games behind last week? I pick up a game, and I'm still 2 games behind. Do we need to double check the math?
You can't win. You cheated.
I'm putting all that in Cody's bucket over there, but according to this, I went 9-6. I'm 134-75. You went 10-5. You're 132-77. According to this, Danny went 8-7. Is 125-84. I can only hope that Cody isn't lacking in his math skills, but I can't say for sure.
Cody, we're going to need a double check on that one. We got September baseball right here. We've got a playoff push, a pennant chase, and boom.
If you are going to the Falcons game, though, almost all merchandise at the team shop will be 50% off, including rivalry merchandise.
Nice little holiday
sale. So if you want to go Christmas shop a little bit at the game Sunday, stop by.
Yeah, how about a Michael Wilson jersey, Trey McBride jersey? That's You guys are lucky. See if, and I'm gonna leave it with this. If Michael Wilson had gone off again, then I was gonna come with something along the lines of, remember Lynn Sanity, Jeremy Lin?
Oh yeah.
I was gonna kind of work something up along the lines of Will Sanity, Michael Wilson. But you're better off for me not actually going down that.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't bring it up.
It's not the same.
Yeah, it's not as good as Darren's Twitter account and all the blowback. We're just going to bask in the glow of Darren taking a massive social media beatdown. How about that? And that'll do it for this edition of Cardinals Underground, brought to you by Pacific Office Automation.